I went to be stationed at in Lajes, Azores, which is one of the gateways to Europe. After being in Lajes for about 5 or 6 months, I was reading the Bible, and I had a glass of wine in one hand and a cigarette in the other. I was reading the Bible, and I heard, this voice. It seemed like an inner voice, but not necessarily so, because I've grown to understand now that, we do have the ability to see, hear, and understand things that are not necessarily of self. And so, but it did become apparent to me that I probably had a problem with, drinking. And so I went and talked to the drug and alcohol counselor, and she gave me the test, and I passed it with flying colors. And one of the questions on there was, have you ever thought about not drinking for a year? It was like, no, who would want to not drink for a year? Why would I want to do that? They sent in for a bed for me at Bethesda, and she gave me an Alcoholics Anonymous big book and a 12 and 12, and told me where the meetings were going to be. And I began to attend the meetings, and it was kind of like it was the place that I needed to be, because there's certain things people were talking about, the things that were, applicable to me to a degree, but I had to come to understand that what I was doing was simply going to a taller intellectual perspective, a spiritual awakening. And it was frightening, because I had a lot of exposure to a lot of different things, but I had not yet begun to understand how to put it or how to look at it in a manner that would be sensible to me. And so when I got to those points of the history pages of the past, it was frightening to look at those things, because I had not forgiven myself. Yeah, and that's a process for me to get to recognize that it's okay for me to look at myself and the things that had transpired in the past, because my higher power, whom I choose to call God, which simply breaks down to good orderly direction. When I look towards good orderly direction, and I have that right relationship with my spirit, then I'm able to see the past, and I can see how that processing up here, now these things have become brand new. So if it was lying, stealing, and cheating, I can look at those things as, there's a different way to live life. And I can share those things with someone else so that they can begin to understand also that there is a much different way to live life, a way in which you can be at peace with yourself, and where you can appreciate yourself and your dreams and goals. They make a lot more sense, and that faith that they certainly will transpire is a lot easier to grasp if I'm being honest with myself. And when I think about things like, the 3 elements of my kingdom right where I am, my physical self, my wisdom, and then my spirit processing my wisdom so that my physical self can accomplish those things that need to be done. When I repeat and repeat and repeat, and when I talk to people about those very basic things, hopefully not overshadowing, but at that level, so a person is able to see that, yeah, those are gods. Those are good people. They have order in their life, and they are directed by their own good wisdom. And in order for me to see that in someone else, it's important for me to be conscious of those facts concerning myself. It's basically how I stay well. Applying those principles, the 12 steps. I have all power in my life to accomplish all kinds of great and marvelous things. And those things will transpire as long as I understand those boundaries that are established for my kingdom, and recognizing that other people have that same authority in their own lives. And for me, the 12 steps, from 1 to 12, they're pretty much the same. And when situations get complex, I can look at the steps and see, let me see which one I want to apply to this. It takes me right back to the basics. And step 3, turning my will and my life over to the care of good orderly direction. As I understand good orderly direction, it simply means that I need to think, to take the time to stop, to look, and to think about how things are going. Rest, if you will, but never quit. Those are some of the other principles that I use, at all times. Just keeping it very simple, and life is it's really awesome.